Hi there, welcome back for another episode of Mr. Fix the Realtor. I'm Zach Lipson with the Jason Martin Group at Real Living at Home. And on this episode, I'm going to show you how to replace a broken garbage disposal. Enjoy! I'm here with my buddies. Say hi, guys. So I'm here today to replace a garbage disposal. I'll show you real quick. I'm not even going to turn the water on because I don't want to create more water for me to clean up. But the disposal sounds jammed, but I've actually checked it out and it's pretty much rusted shut. So we're looking down underneath the sink here. Got the garbage disposal. It looks good on the outside, but the inside's not so much the same story. We are going to do two things here, some electrical and some plumbing. So the first thing we want to do is shut off any breaker that's connected to this to make sure we don't get shocked or risk shock or electrocution, of course. So please be sure to do that first. And then we're also going to go ahead and take apart part of the trap here. This is the trap where the water goes through from the garbage disposal from the sink. Your setup may vary a little bit depending upon the connections you have from your dishwasher or other fixtures and appliances, so it's not always going to look the same. But the first thing we're going to do is we are going to unscrew this part from here. I'm going to add one thing real quick before I take this off, which is there's actually two things you can do in case you're unsure if you actually really need to reset it. Underneath the bottom here there is a button that's a reset button, and I'll show you that. And then there's also a piece where you can stick in an Allen wrench to turn this manually. Now, if neither of those fix the problem, and yeah, it's locked shut, and then you need to replace it. You want to unscrew this so that any water that drains out doesn't go all over the place. Unscrew it a little bit. You want to be careful around the pipes. You don't want to cause too much twisting and turning. As you saw, it twisted a little bit on the other one. That's something you just want to be careful of. So I'm going to go ahead and unscrew this. This is the discharge from the dishwasher. I'm going to disconnect this as well. I've taken out the discharge line. This piece right here is still connected to the sink, okay? We are going to take this piece and slide it off. It's a little tight, so I'm going to have to use a little bit of force to knock that off. I might give it a little tap. It's hard to see real well, but that's what the inside looks like. It's rusted. So this is the garbage disposal I bought to replace this. I bought a Badger 5. It's about $100. You get it at Home Depot, or most hardware stores have it. So here I've opened the box. You see this piece right here. This is what's already connected to the kitchen sink. So if you didn't already have a garbage disposal there and it was just draining to your normal waistline, you would go ahead and install this, because this is the bracket that holds it in place. For all intents and purposes, it looks very much the same. It comes with an arm to go on there. We already had one that was already there. You may find that this arm works fine, or the one that was already there was cut perfectly to size. If you find one's easier to use, just use it. You don't need to necessarily use the new one if you don't want to. And then there's this. This is what I was telling you. If it's jammed up, you can twist it with this wrench, right? You want to keep this. So to show you, for instance, this is where this will go, right? This is brand new, so it turns just fine. The other one, it's going to have resistance. And here's your reset button. The next thing to keep in mind is we've got a little Phillips screw here on the bottom. There's a plate there. And I'm going to reach my hand in. I'm going to grab the wires. So this is what we're going to connect the electrical through. And then when we're done, we'll tuck it back in here. We've got a ground wire here. That's what this green screw is for grounding. You may not have the option to ground your wire depending upon how old your wiring is as well, so you'll have to check. So this is a little bit different. I've actually gone ahead and disconnected the power. The weird thing about this is typically you have this hardwired. This is hardwired, however, it's hardwired to a plug. So there is the option here to put a plug. It goes directly into here. So there's a little hole here, right? This is our knockout. And what we'll do is we're going to actually fish these wires in through here. However, the first thing we want to do is we've got this little piece here. I took this off the old garbage disposal, but you may need to buy this at the hardware store. Pretty standard piece. It's a clamp. So I'm going to just screw this in here. And disregard this if you are not plugging your disposal in. Typically you don't, but in this case we do. So we've got our ground wire here. That's what this green wire is. And we'll run that there. We'll run the white to the white, and we'll run the black to the black. So I've gone ahead, I've fished this through, and we've got these sticking out. So I'm going to put the ground wire, I'll do that last, but I'm going to take these two wire nuts. Going to wire the white to the white. Remember, nothing's plugged in right now. The easy thing with this disposal, because I have it just connected on a plug, make sure this is nice and tight. Because it's just on a plug, I don't have to disconnect the wiring while it's still hanging there. Because if there's a wire connected to that, I wouldn't be able to pull the disposal all the way out. And then I'm going to simply take the green wire, wrap it around so it's complete, so it's touching. And tighten that. I'm going to also tighten the clamp here. I don't need this to choke it, I just need it to make sure it's firmly in place. Put this in and then line the metal piece up. I've put the new disposal on, so I gotta connect the discharge for the dishwasher waistline, and then I've got to connect the actual waistline that goes into the trap here that we see just to the left. So it takes a little bit of force when you lock it in there. You do want to make sure that you have all three sides locked in. Now the ultimate test will be once I run the water to make sure that there's no water leaking through, which means it's been secured tightly. So I'm going to take the existing plumbing that's here already and put it in. I'm not going to try to overly complicate this any more than it needs to be because it works. Just secure this with the flathead screwdriver so that the waste disposal is properly on there, and you want to make sure that's as tight as you can get it. You may have to just adjust this ever so slightly since it fits differently each time. I can turn the disposal. As long as this is still secured, I can turn this. You can see there's rings on the bottom here. There's a gasket in here, so I want to make sure that's firmly in place as well before securing this metal plate over that. The metal plate will also push it into place, but nonetheless, just make sure you have it on there properly. I'm going to tighten back up the pipe here. This collar, I can tighten part of it by hand. Remember, you don't want to go crazy tightening this. You want it to be tight, but you don't want to shake everything. So nice, slow, steady turns. Don't jerk it. The pipe can still break it. So everything's nice and tight now. Last thing I got left to do is plug it in. And I'm going to fire it up. Good as new. I'm going to run the water too and make sure there's no leak. You know, if it's leaking, we'll start seeing it come out around here. Or it could come out here. You won't see it here because that's the dishwasher unless you ran the dishwasher. Otherwise, you'll see it in one of these spots here. Sounds good. Hey guys, what do you want to say to your fans? Thanks for watching today's episode of Mr. Fix-It the Realtor on how to change a garbage disposal. I hope you enjoyed the cameo by my buddies Roxy and Izzy, very sweet dogs. I hope you also learned how to now install a garbage disposal. But should you have additional questions, as I know this is not the easiest thing to do, please let me know. Or if you have something else you'd like to see me do, let me know. I'd love to hear your feedback, suggestions, comments, and also please be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel in the link here below. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a great one. Bye.